Anthony, welcome.
I am happy to be here, but upset at the fact that I was not a British citizen and I didn't have the opportunity to vote on the Lisbon Treaty.
Well,
how did you vote?
I hate to disillusion you, Anthony, but I don't think we had a vote.
No, I mean, surely you can't surrender. This country couldn't surrender its sovereignty and its freedom, its liberty for all people for all time without a vote. I mean, you were told you would Cameron told you you'd have a vote.
Well, but Cameron's not in power, is he?
I understand he's not in power, but he may be in power.
Well,
and then there's Brown.
Yes, Brown is in power.
And then Brown was talking about bringing in Blair. I saw it in the papers. To head up the New World Order.
Oh, to be the president of Europe.
Well, the Führer of Europe. Because, you know, this particular treaty isn't new. It is, the EU is Hitler's dream.
I think it's the sixth one, isn't it? I think we've had 5 treaties before the Lisbon Treaty, or maybe 4. And then...
Let's go back to Adolf Hitler. When he had the Third Reich, he was following a schematic, a game plan, that was written by Adolf Hitler in his second book, The World Order.
Well, I think Adolf Hitler introduced the European Economic Community, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
What was it? The free market idea for Europe was as a starting point.
About it. So what Hitler failed to do in his invasion of all of Europe and his attempt to invade England through a program of bullets and bombs and using boats, U-boats below and carriers above, the British Parliament and Brown and Blair have done through acts of treason and through a treaty. I mean, this is exactly what's happened. They failed to do, under Adolf Hitler, what has been done and accomplished under Blair and Brown, and with the acceptance of Cameron.
And the treaties before that were signed by Margaret Thatcher and John Major, I believe, the previous Conservative.
Well, there was a fellow named Heath. I guess he started...
Edward Heath, yes, Edward Heath.
Sir Edward Heath. And I was talking to some people in Bournemouth. I was down there the other day. And I'm looking at some papers, and I'm seeing that Heath sort of started this all. I mean, after Hitler failed, Heath brings this document back up, and he sort of shoves it into the Parliament, and he said, well, nothing's really going to happen here. And I said, hey, Heath, my God, he's guilty of high treason. I said...
well, I think the game at the time was that the French were playing the blushing bride and refusing to let us join the common market. And we wanted to join, and they were going, oh, no, non, non, merci, non.
You know, I was thinking about this Heath guy, and so I went down to Salisbury, the cathedral. I wanted to go in
because cathedral,
when I came in, I see this headline. Britain, the end of it all. And I see the flag of the EU, Hitler's dream come true, over the Parliament. As Lisbon Treaty becomes law, we've been sold down the river. That's what's happened. Could it happen? No, it did happen. And I came out of this little pub, had some dinner, and I said, Britain, the end, and I'm looking around, my God, people, they must be running, scurrying around the streets. No. It was like zombie land. I kid you not. It was like zombie land. Alive from the neck down, dead from the neck up. Have they no idea? Don't you have any idea what the hell has happened? Good Lord. This is like the surrender of the United States Constitution, the surrender of the United States to a North American Union. I call it the Nazi Agreement, like the Nazi Agreement, because this is a Nazization of this nation. And Heath did this thing, and I'm here. I go down to Salisbury Cathedral. I try to get in. Nope, there's the BBC. And I figure, well, the BBC has got it. These guys are sharp as a tack. They're in there. They understood that Heath sold out the country. And
why are they in Salisbury Cathedral then?
I didn't
What's
know
it got to do with Salisbury?
There was some boys' choir in there. And I said, you're not covering this story about Heath having started this movement which surrendered the Magna Carta and the whole thing? And he said, no, we're covering the boys' choir. I said, my God, this is unbelievable, because the Magna Carta is about 40 yards down in some case, so people could see it, a copy of it, the Magna Carta. And then Prime Minister Heath, who was responsible for the surrender of the sovereignty of this great island nation. Here is Heath. Here, over on the other side, is the Magna Carta. And I said, this is an atrocity. It's an outrage. It's beyond belief. And I'm thinking, well, what has to happen? I mean, I noticed this, and apparently the Brits don't. So I'm asking that we exhume the body of Sir Edward Heath. Exhume it. Take it out of the cathedral. Get it away from the Magna Carta. You can shove it over into London, grind it up, and flush it down the sewer system, where it belongs. How can the document that provided freedom for this country... I
am constrained to say, Anthony, that your opinions may not necessarily be those of this station.
Oh, I know that. But, I mean, then there are no real opinions about that by the BBC. And why isn't the BBC handling it? Why aren't they talking about it?
Again, I can't comment about the editorial policies of the BBC, but I do know you get a different class of news here on Channel 200, Controversial TV.
And let me say something. And am I on this camera over here?
You are now, right. Yes.
I've got to tell you something. I've been here for about 2 or 3 weeks, and I turn on the television, on the Edge TV. This man here is talking. The best damned television show in this country. It's not usual procedure for me to stop and say, so you got to support this station. I've been on many stations, and I've been on their air for a long period of time, and I recognize that this station, and you in particular, are allowing freedom of choice, freedom of speech. The others are not. When I watched the girl from the BBC talking about, she's smiling and she's saying, oh, well, you know, this attack on New York City, and it was all so terrible. And the North Tower went down, the South Tower went down, and the BBC gets right smack dab right in front there with all the news on the time, always accurate. She's talking about Building 7 going down, and I'm taking a look at this clip, and I said, Building 7 going down?
It's right behind you.
It's right. It's right behind. There's building 7 over here. Here's the 47-story building, and it's collapsed. No, it hasn't collapsed yet. And what is the BBC saying? Oh God, it's gone down. They got the news in advance. They are part of the program, the manipulation of the mindset of the nation. Novacaine. The nation has been Novacaine. There's only one chance that we can reverse this treaty, that we can have a constitution that will protect this nation just like it has, with our constitution, protected our nation. I went to this British Constitution group, came in London, spoke there. And I stood up and I said, how many of you read the Constitution? 5 or 6 people, and I stood up again in some chairs, and I looked out. I said, how many of you read the Constitution? 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. There is no Constitution. We have to have a Constitution, separate and aside from the Parliament. The Parliament can't vote on it. These are the guys that already sold you out.